What's happening, gang? The Lawn Ranger has sent me some knives to sharpen up for him. This is a cold steel Recon. Not sure how well you're going to see this tip, but he has dinged this thing up pretty good. So I'm going to try to bring that back. This is a tanto edge, and I don't know if you're familiar with cold steel, but they got this little back half of the edge that they never grind. It's just a wad of metal back there, and they don't extend the choil past that point. Now this is the old school version in AUS 8, so it's fairly easy to sharpen. I'm going to go ahead and use my Atoma 140. This plate is worn the hell out, so it's not crazy fast, but it's going to be fast enough for me to reprofile this tip, get it fixed up, and then I'm just going to concentrate on the existing edge, and I'm just going to recreate it. I'm not going to extend it, make it more acute. I'm just going to use what's there and recreate it. Tantos can be a little tricky for some folks. You just got to remember the tanto portion and the main flat are usually two separate angles. The main portion will usually be a lower angle, and the tanto is usually more acute because you have a smaller surface here. So when they grind these, they tend to grind them very obtuse. So you end up having to raise your angle quite high as opposed to the main flat. So the main flat may be around 15 degrees, and then the tanto could be sitting at 25, 30. You just got to experiment with it. Put some Sharpie marker on it if you need to figure out where your angle is. I want to concentrate on the tanto portion at first. I just want to get this tip reprofiled. I'm going to basically do it like a chisel. Just straight into the stone like this with light pressure. This is diamond after all, even though it is pretty worn out, it still cuts, and it does cut aggressively if you apply pressure. I'm just checking to make sure I'm grinding where I need to be, and I don't know how well I can make this show up for you guys, but as long as I keep maintaining the angle that I'm at, that tip should come back in no time at all. Say 4 or 5 more swipes like that, and this thing should be ready to rock and roll. Now, if you couldn't deduce, the Lawn Ranger is in lawn care, and like myself, he really uses the hell out of his knives. He said this thing's been used as a paint stirrer, bag opener, shovel, anything you could possibly think to use a knife, he has used this guy for. That's one of the great things about the cold steels, man. They are built like a tank. They'll take that abuse and keep on coming. I've pretty much got this side almost completely finished. I'm going to go ahead and switch sides and start grinding from the other side, just so I can get that evenness without grinding too far on one side. Now I may end up having to joint the edge, and that's where I grind this part flat again, just straight across the stone. It just depends on how it starts to form and shape. Hopefully I won't have to do that, but that might be a possibility. We'll see. We'll see as this goes along. pretty much got the tip back. I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on the flat real quick. Just get that edge back. I don't want to grind over that little nubbin of unsharpened metal. What I'm doing here is I'm using my thumb. I'm riding it right along the edge of the stone so I don't go over that little hiccup of metal there. Using it kind of like a guard, guide, whatever you want to call it, just so I don't go over that little spot. Pretty much got a burr across the whole edge. Same thing on this side, I'm just putting my finger down so I don't go over that little cusp of metal. Got a little bit of a chipping issue up in here. I'm going to have to concentrate on that a little bit more. May seem like I'm doing a lot of grinding, but I haven't even formed a burr on the other side yet. I've almost reached the apex, but I'm still not quite there. Now I could raise my angle and of course hit it, but I'm trying to use the exact same angle that was existing. Now I've got a burr across the whole edge. Sure you can hear it. I'm going to flip back over. Because this side was already burring up. There it is, I got a burr. And that's going to be it for this stone. Now what I will do, and I won't bore you guys with the entirety of it, I'm going to go through my 1 and 4K stone, exact same thing, do the same steps, reform the apex, polish it up, and I'll bring you guys back when everything's all complete. Alright guys, I'm not going to get super deep into the Bess tester here. I'm just going to run 2 tests, one on the flat, one on the tanto, and those are the results I'm going to go with. That is 148. And 151. So, not my keenest edge, but this is a pretty obtuse angle. And it is sharp. It will cut. I'll say it does take a fantastic edge. This is my final result. I just took it to the 4K and 1K Bernal cutlery stone and then stropped on white compound. I did my best to not go over that little divot of metal they got in the back here. Brought the tip back fairly well. The transition here, I didn't quite get it as crisp as I would like, but it's not bad. These knives have just the slightest amount of belly right here. It's kind of weird. Hopefully you can see that. There's a slight curve. So they actually have a little bit of belly up here near the transition, which is very odd. They're not a true straight flat edge. I think it turned out pretty good though. This side looks a little bit better as far as that transition goes. Hopefully the Lone Ranger's impressed with it. If not, well, he knows how to sharpen. He only sent me these because he knows I like to do this sort of thing. He's a good guy like that. Keeps me supplied with knives to sharpen. Well, if you guys have any questions or comments, as always, leave them down below. I appreciate you watching. Y'all have a good one.